This is already weird. It's fine. Hi, my name is Sophie. I'm a self-proclaimed witch and tarot reader, and this is my first ever YouTube channel. Obviously, this is my first ever video on this channel. I want to tailor it around divination and witchcraft and spirituality topics, kind of guiding people on their own path and pointing them in a direction that they might be interested in. But today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about what witchcraft is and what it means to me as a little introductory video to the channel. If you like this style of content, then consider hitting the like and the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for when I upload in the future. To start off with, I'll talk a little bit about my story and where I started. I was inspired by a young age because of where we grew up. Now, my family wasn't necessarily religious in any way, but we had a lot of strange occurrences that kept continuously happening within our family. Examples of this would pop up like my older brother when he was younger, between the ages of 4 and 6, he'd claim that he was a World War II soldier, and went on to talk about how he used to fly fighter planes in the war. And then when doing the research, it turned out that there was a soldier by that name who was around and died in the way that he described, which was interesting. Another occurrence that kept happening was my younger siblings would have spirits come and visit them in the night and come and talk to them and keep them up at night. And then my own experiences where I would hear disembodied voices, see shadow people, and have dreams about spirits and their experiences in life. While I couldn't truly comprehend it at such a young age, it did set the stage for more spiritual growth in the future. My nana was really the true window into specifically witchcraft for me. My mom would tell me the stories all the time about her experiences when she was little, of my nan and her practices. When my nan lost my uncle, my mum was very young, and in order to help her during this time, my nan would use spiritual communication tools in order to try and contact her son. This would include seances, and she used to have a seance table set up in her living room where she used tarot cards to commune with him. And she also did other practices that my mum doesn't truly know the ins and outs of because she used to be kept out of the way from it all. But what my mum does know is that she used to wear a robe when she practiced, and she used to collect all sorts of crystals like dragon eggs and keep them on the dining room table. She also had a crystal ball that would sit in the middle of her seance table that no one was allowed to touch. When I was 11, I started my research, and that is when I fully started to comprehend what was going on around us. I started to read articles and books and basically anything I could find, even the ones that maybe weren't so good for me. I even went as far as to have a subscription to the local horoscope and oracle magazine that used to tell us all about psychic practices and mysticism. When I was 13 or 14 is when I first saw an actual spell book in a shop, which sounds ridiculous because you see them all the time now. But back then you couldn't really find them anywhere in a physical shop unless you went somewhere specific. But I had seen it in the works, and it was just one of their little spell books that was sitting along with their usual astrology sign books they used to sell. I still have it on my shelf, to be fair. I looked at my mum and I was like, can I please have this? And she's like, yes, as long as I don't practice it in the house, because my dad believed that it would attract negative things. Then when I was around the age of 15 or 16, my sister and I at this point had both been researching into the craft and divination, and we had a particular interest in tarot. So my mum brought us both a tarot set to use between us, which is the tarot set that I still use today, the one by Liz Dean called the Magic of Tarot. And this set comes with a little guidebook, and so we started delving into giving each other tarot readings, as well as friends, and then eventually we invited family to come and do tarot readings. Then my sister kind of fell out of it, and she asked if I wanted the tarot for myself. And that's where my love for the craft blossomed, because not only then was I able to do something, which was divination through tarot readings, as well as being able to fine tune a skill. Then when I was 18 and I moved out of my parents' house to move to uni, I was able to fully delve into the physical side of the practice. And it was a very freeing time for me to be able to conduct spells and put intuition into the things that I was doing, like stirring attention into my coffee or making cooking a spell in a way. The small things like that I could implement into my daily practice really did help solidify that for me. But then, as much as those few months were very vitalizing for me, I fell into a lot of difficult times. I ended up taking a big break away from the craft, and a lot of that was down to personal reasons, but I was really struggling to align my intentions at the time. But when that happened, I also felt like I just found myself, and then I kind of stepped away from something that truly made me feel like happy and a sense of self, right? And then after about a year and a half, I realized that I truly wasn't happy without the craft at that point. And I found that I was drawn back in through tarot and giving somebody a tarot reading at the time. And that drew me back in, and it felt like coming home. It was like coming home from work. And it was so comforting. It was such a good time just coming back into the craft after such a harsh period. And I was able to find comfort and joy and a lot of gratitude for not only the craft itself, but the things around me again. It was able to grant a sense of joy and motivation that I couldn't get anywhere else, really. And now it's just my daily routine. And over the years, I've just really fine tuned what I know. And I'm always exploring ways to improve my craft and be more inclusive in my craft and make things better for me, and not only that, but also guide other people as well. The sharing my story allows me to draw into the bigger question in the video. What is witchcraft? What does witchcraft actually mean? There isn't one singular way to define witchcraft. It's taken so many forms over the centuries and is deeply woven into several different cultures like Native American, African, Hispanic, Celtic, and so many more. But at its core, witchcraft is about connecting with the world around us, connecting with its elements and with nature. The practice is working with the metaphysical and the physical to invite change. A simple way to think about it is like affirmations. If you wake up every day and you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, I'm confident, I'm strong, after a period of time you'll start to believe it. Your attitude will start to change, and your behavior will start to change. This is energy at work. The ways in which practitioners can practice will also look vastly different. This is because practice is very personal, and when looking into different practices, you should not only be analytical about the how are these practices done, but also the why. Why are we using these tools? Why are we doing things this way? What does that symbolize for us? This is how you make your journey more personal. But you need to keep in mind as well that some practices are not for everybody. Some practices are closed practices, and they're usually deeply tied into spiritual and cultural traditions. Examples of this include Santeria, a Yoruban culture in the Caribbean, where practitioners do rituals in order to communicate and stay connected with their Oshiras.
This is Sophie from the future. It's pronounced Orishas, so please ignore the minor miscommunication there.
Another example is hoodoo, which is rooted deeply in Western African culture and was developed by slaves in South America. Or a more widely known example, which is the usage of white sage and Palo Santo. These have a sacred cultural meaning in Native American and Hispanic cultures. When outsiders start to adopt a practice without understanding the history and cultural significance behind these practices, it leads to misinformation and cultural appropriation. So if you're curious about practice, I urge you, take the time to research. Look into its history and cultural impact. Who does that tradition belong to? It might feel a bit discouraging at first, but I promise you, it's one of the most rewarding experiences as a part of the journey. It's one of the most important things that we have to do as practitioners. And once you start to truly understand the meaning and the impact behind what you're doing, your practice becomes so much more powerful and meaningful. But that's all from me today, guys. I do appreciate you guys hanging around till the end of the video. I hope this video helps you to find your first steps when it comes to looking and researching into witchcraft and understanding the meaning behind witchcraft and what it is. Let me know in the comments below, what is it that got you into witchcraft? What made you interested? Are you already on your path? Have you already started researching or making spells or whatever? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this one, consider hitting the like and the subscribe button. And if you want to talk to other members of the community, there's going to be a Discord link in the description below. It's the Discord that I've just made, where we're going to focus a little bit more on guidance for people to ask questions, granting knowledge, that sort of thing. But it's also a place to hang out with like-minded people. So if you're interested in that, it'll be in the description box below. But thank you again so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.